Well, we may just have to deal with it, honestly. I probably am the only one who cares so much, but the audio is not very good, is it? I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like a really annoying, high-pitched, constant sound going on whenever I speak. That's the fans on my monitor. The problem is, I don't know why the microphone is picking it up when it didn't used to. But because it's always made that noise, that's just the noise that it makes. So I don't know, what about my setup changed that it's now picking it up? Anyway. I guess... Oh yeah, one thing. If you're curious, just in case you're curious about the stream title, right? Let me tell you what my setup is with the headphones, right? It's so scuffed. Okay, so basically, my previous headphones that I was wearing, they broke, right? And I have another pair. Actually, let me transition to the screen. Okay, yeah. So basically, the headphones that I was wearing before, they broke, right? And I have a backup pair. But the problem is that in this pair of headphones, only the right one works, and they're like over the head, you know, like headband type of headphones, which I like. I prefer those, right? I think most people do. On those, only the right headphone works, right? But I want to be hearing stereo, so what I did is I have this other pair of in-ear ones where the left one is fine, but the right one hurts the fuck out of my ears, right? Because, you know, we're humans and we're not completely symmetrical. So essentially what I did is I have an aux cord splitter, and in this splitter I've plugged in both of those headphones. Must be heard. Mario Picross must always be heard in stereo. Yes, of course. This is why I did this, right? Most important, your playability just goes down the drain if you don't, right? It's like Counter-Strike. Anyway, yeah, I have a headphone splitter. I have an aux cord splitter, and I plugged both of those headphones in, and I'm wearing the left headphone of the in-ear ones under the headband ones, the bigger ones, right? Where only the right one works, so that I can hear from both ears. It's really stupid. Like, I look fucking silly doing this, but like, it works. There, they don't even transmit at the same volume. So it's a bit annoying. I just need to buy better headphones. Anyway, here we are making games. Yeah, I'm not even playing Mario Picross. I just have the music because I like it. Yeah, I was going to keep making this game that I've been making. Well, game that I've been making. It's not really much of a game, not yet, but that's gonna change, right? So what did I have so far? I forget. At least 1 year confirmed. I can hear both. I can hear off of both. It's just that one of them is way. It's a little bit louder than the other. Let's see, what was project settings? Did I add the... No, I did. Oh, it's AD. Oh, that's why. So what did I have in this game? Yeah, it's just basic movement. And like, yeah, most of it was just making it work in a 3D environment, even though this is like a 2D kind of game, because we're gonna be doing... We're gonna be doing 2.5D, right? If it looks a bit awkward, that's just because the camera is tilted. Like if I make it head on, right? Actually, how do I check that? It's... Yeah, if I give it... What's going on? What? What? It just went to the taskbar and now refuses to go back up? Things are not going well for me today. Anyway, hi, belt plug. What the fuck is going on here? Hello, Garot? Am I gonna have to close it and open it back up? Did you know that the soundtrack also technically features a wire paper? Oh yes, I know. Actually, I think I have some of these tracks there. Let me see if I can. Yeah, no, I played that game. I 100% that game like earlier in the year. Let me see. Do I have the Wario ones? Yeah, I do. Look. Yeah, we have the Wario tracks in here. Why is the screen not staying up? Yeah, I 100% of the game. I just completed all the pictures. I was doing it on my free time because, like, that's a very good game to play on the Switch, right? What the fuck is going? How do I even close it now? Close. What was that about? Okay, give me a second while I open this back up. What the fuck? This is also Mario Picross on the Game Boy. It's a fun game. I mean, I like Picross. It's just Picross, but... Okay, well, what the hell is going on? How do I open this? Okay, so... This is not the right one. It's this one. I am sorry to hear about your technical issues. I hope everything will be okay. Ah, whatever. It's a game making streams. There's always technical issues. That's what these streams are made of. Okay, so I think this is a Godot bug because, like, all I did was, let me see if this is something that's changed it. No, not changed that. Changed this. I put this and this. Okay, it's not breaking this time. So good to know. Let's just save the scene just in case. Yeah, okay, so this is more of a flat view of this 2D character in this 3D world, right? Yeah, he turns on a dime, but if you're jumping, it takes a bit more. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's what I did. I was just doing like the normal walking and running mechanics, right? So, what was I going to... Okay, so I'm looking at my to-do list and it says basic movement, relative movement. And I have no idea what the fuck that means. What do you mean relative? Relative to what? Why did I write that? What does that mean? Oh, wait, no, I know, I just remembered. Yeah. It's because this is a 2.5D sort of game, right? Or at least that's the plan. I need the character to, like, the character is right now just confined to a 2D plane, which works, right, for when you just wanted to move left to right. But if I have, say, something like, for example, do we have a cylinder here? No, it's CSG, yeah, cylinder. So say that I have a level like, whether I can't see it. What size is this? Oh, that's tiny. Oh, that's fine. I can just... I gotta say, I'm not as comfortable in the Godot viewport as I am in Unity. Say that I make the scale like... let's make it like 100 or something. Oh no, that's way too much. That's 1,000. Yeah, something like that. Actually, 500. 350? Yeah, okay. So say I have a level that's like a tower, right? And I want the whole meme to be like you're just climbing up the tower, right? I would maybe want the character to just sort of go around it, right? And in that case, this guy being pinned to just one axis is not really going to work for me, right? Because he's only going to be able to move along this red line in this case. So that's what we have to do. We have to figure out a system so that this guy can, like, his movement is still 2D, so he has to still be sort of on rails, but we have to make it so that those rails can curve, right? And that's probably gonna take most of this stream anyway, because I don't know how to do it and I can't imagine it'll be easy. Let's see, how would I do it? So the first thing that I can think of is, right, to use a spline, right? Essentially, I have a spline that belongs to the world here, and just have that, and so the movements of the player are always on rails, kind of like Picross. Yes, of course. I don't. What? I don't. Sure. Let's just say it works. I'm not sure I get what you're getting at, dude, but actually, how is Picross on rails? I can't afford to be distracted by this. I have a game to make. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I would need to make a spline here, right? That would be the first thing that I'm thinking. Spline. It's not called a spline. What is it called then? I know that I used it in another project, so I know it exists, but I don't remember what it's called. They have to be curve? You can move outside of the playing field, you can kind of leave the grid, but it's style-based, not very on rails in that sense. Oh, I guess, yeah. Yeah, you know what? Actually, that makes sense. Yeah. Where? Okay, so where are the curves that I'm looking for? Underscore, animated. Joint? That wouldn't be a joint. Or light. Path. Okay, but those are 2D paths. I need a 3D one. There you go. Okay, so path 3D. Right. So then this path is currently just a point because it doesn't really exist as anything else. So it needs points. So one point goes right there. Let's say that another point goes like all the way. Okay, how do I move? There's gotta be an easier way to move these. Right. Oh, there you are. These are the controls. Okay, so select control points, select tilt handles, add point, delete point. Ah, right. So yeah, they're not really made so that you have them from here. I want to add a point, and this point should be like here. There you go. And then another point here, and then another point here. Right? And so the idea would be you can move out to the... Oh, no, yeah, I already read that. Right. And so then we also want them to curve. So just select this and grab the handles, probably? Tilt handles? Yeah. What's the tower about? Oh, no, it's just an example. It's not really meant to be anything yet. I'm just testing the game systems, right? Or making them, really. This game is extremely bare as of right now. The tower is just an example of a level idea. How do I make this curve? Well, first of all, close the curve, yes. How do I make this curve? Okay, so I want to select this point. I'm going to grab the tilt handle. Add point, delete point, close curve. Oh, okay, there's too much garbage in the way and I can't see very well. How do I make it so that the axis lines sort of disappear? Yeah, forget about this. Let's try to show this predictable mouse. And how do I make this clear? You need to be able to see the curves. Options. Oh, that's probably in here. No, that's not it. But Jesus, okay. Don't be the gizmos. Don't get the transfer gizmo, don't get the grid. There you go, that helps a lot. Okay, so the path then, those are gizmos. I need to be able to see the gizmos. Show me the gizmos. Okay, yeah. So I'm looking for the handles. So how do which ones are the handles? Those would be like, nope, not that. Select control points, shift and click to drag out control. Ah, there you go, okay. Yeah, something like this. This is not very precise, but you know. So I can just move this here. And this should be, there you go. And not very precise because it doesn't matter, this is just as well. Right. Okay, so the idea is I have this curve, right, going around the tower, and the idea is that the movement of the player should be limited to that curve. If this was a Zelda game, it would be blocking out the sun probably, but only probably. I didn't actually play the Game Boy Zelda game, so I couldn't tell you. I guess, yeah. I mean, it depends on what the sun is, right, the time of day and stuff. Okay, so we have the player here, and the movement handler of the player. Well, first of all, the player needs to be aware that this path is a thing that it exists, right? That's thing number one. So we take the player, Oracle of Ages. Sorry, just having fun with you. Oh, it's fine. Don't apologize, dude. I like the engagement. Usually I'm just here alone, you know. Yeah, because I get what you mean. Like from whatchamacallit, from oh, what's the name? That has a name. Isometric. From an isometric perspective, right? These things like these always cast a shadow that is about their same size, right? Like this sort of perspective, right? Which is what those games usually have. Right now we're not thinking too much about level design, I just need the player to work. Okay, so the player needs to be aware that that curve exists, so we're going to need a script attached to this. Scripts for the player, just player. For character party 3D, yes, and this is going to be class name player. I think Bloodstain has a stage like you are thinking of. Bloodstain. Haven't played that game before? I don't think I have. Bloodstained. Oh, that's that game. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. It probably does. This is a relatively recent game. Relatively, I guess that just kind of sheds a light on how old I am, doesn't it? It feels recent to me. Oh, it's not that. Yeah. I've heard good things about that game. When you walk to the right, you are going up a 3D tower. Yeah. Like your movements are 2D, but like the stage is just kind of rotating around you. Well, the idea is actually the thing that I was thinking as I was making it is Elsword. I don't know if you know Elsword. Is this Korean MMO that I used to play, and like the game, same thing. Like the game is in 3D environments, and the environments have different paths that curve in 3D space, but your movement is always just up, down, left, right. Okay, so needs to be aware of the curve. So export variable curve. No, path, because that's the name of the thing. Path, and it is of type path 3D. And so every time that we plug the player onto a scene, we have to tell the player, hey, you belong to this curve. So it wouldn't be able to move away from that, right? Then what? Then we need to make it so that the player can only move along here. And the way that you move something along the path 3D node in Godot is by adding a child to it that is a path follow 3D, right? And so this path follow sort of, I can't see it because it doesn't have body or anything, but it's like view transformation is right. So you can see it's right there, right? And so the more as I move this value, it moves along the curve, right? So the idea would be for the player, for the player's movement handler, for its X position parameter to not move alongside like the X and Y axis, the horizontal axis, but rather to move this node along that line. Ah shit, that's a pain in the ass, isn't it? Yeah, because then I have to call move and slide, right? But I'll have to not call move and slide. Moves the body based on velocity. Oh. Okay, what am I looking for? Apply floor snap, get floor angle. Position delta. Can I get a function that simulates the movement but doesn't actually execute it? That would be nice. Position delta. Get slide collision. Ooh. No, but this one relies on calling move and slide, so. What am I looking for? Get position delta. No, that's just move and slide. Okay, hold on. So how can I do this? I could make it so that. Ooh, that's a good idea. Hold on. What is it? Like position delta? Like collision. Get position delta. And this is a vector 3. Okay, so that's good. So that means that I can just execute a normal movement, then execute a normal movement, then get how much it moved along the XZ axis, which is the one that I'm interested in. Like, I want to give it freedom to go up and down. How much it moves along the XZ axis, then move the path follow 3D by that same amount along the curve or whichever direction, and then snap the player to that position each frame, right? Would that even work? Ah shit, I have no idea if that would work. And actually, the thing that I'm realizing is the player doesn't need to know the path 3D, it needs to know the path follow 3D. So path 3D follow. Is it follow? It's not follow. What is it actually called? Oh, it's path follow 3D. So it's like this. Right? So save that and then tell the player, hey, you're following this dude, right? Then what? Well, the player doesn't actually handle its own movement. The player has a node that does that for it, so they gotta... But actually, do we? Do we need this? I think we do. Okay, so yeah, when the player begins its life, so it's going to tell the movement handler, hey, and also have snap point, let's call it that. And when it begins, it's going to tell the movement handler about this thing. So variable at snap point given by player node, and it is of type path follow 3D. And then when this begins its life, it's going to tell this movement handler, which actually should be handled by reference rather than by name, that export var movement handler, and it is the movement, what did I call it? Player movement handler, like this. So yeah, so it tells this movement handler, hey, the path snap point is the one that I just got from the outside, right, from the level. So it's just basically, it tells this guy who it has to snap to, right? So then this is just this, and this is given outside the level. Okay, so that's the easy part. The problem is now I have to figure out how to actually handle that movement. Well, the first thing is that this movement is coded assuming that the player is going to be snapped. And I have to make it so that it's actually coded depending on where the player is facing. So the right direction should always be where the player is facing. And the left direction should be where the player is not facing. Except for when they flip around, then it reverses. That didn't make any sense. I just said it out loud and then realized it didn't make any sense. I know what I mean though. Right. So, when the player calculates horizontal velocity, gets horizontal, calculate vertical velocity, get vertical accel, kill momentum. Right, this. So we don't want to just add it uncritically to x, right? Because that's what pins us to left or right. So what it should be is that we are taking the current horizontal speed and timesing it by, so it's vector math, right? So we want to times it by whichever way the player is facing. Wait, fuck. Yeah, because if the player turns, then they just turn, right? So it has to be forward relative to the player. So the player velocity if I'm not mistaken, velocity is a vector 3, right? So can I get right relative to the player? Is that a thing that I can do on Node 3D? I think it is. Let me try. So like I have here Node 3Ds. Is there a method that will give me a relative heading? Oh, hold on. What am I thinking? It doesn't really matter because the player is going to only ever be rotated around the y-axis. This is the only rotation that matters. Oh, hold on. What does this mean? In the mathematical sense, rotation is a matrix and not a vector. The three Euler angles, which are the three independent parameters of the Euler angle parametrization of the rotation matrix, are stored in a vector 3 data structure, not because the rotation is a vector, but only because vector 3 exists as a convenient data structure to store 3 floating point numbers. Therefore, applying affine averages to a vectoration or a rotation vector is not meaningful. Oh, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so then. Would you rather be 2D? I mean, I like 2D games a lot. I make them in 2D usually, but I have to learn how to do things in 3D at some point, right? I want to be versatile, right? I have enough 2D projects already. So yeah, I think I know how to do this. Yes. So first of all, I'm going to assume that the player is always going to be rotated, right? But only going to be rotated along the y-axis. Because it's not going to rotate like, I mean, maybe it is. No, I mean for yourself. Do you think you would enjoy being 2D rather than 3D? Oh, well, I mean, look at me. I'm already 2D. Right? So if you're asking if I would enjoy being 3D, honestly, that seems like a bit of a hassle. Glad you like it. Okay, I think I know how to do this, but I need to remember where it was. Yeah, here. Okay. So I can assume that the player is always going to be rotated along the y-axis, which means that in order to get the forward heading, I just need to know how much they are rotated along the y-axis, right? So then what I do is take vector 3 point right. Actually, which one is right? Whichever one the positive x, that's the one that I need. Positive? This is... Yeah, whichever one the positive x is, that's the one I need. So that would be... Positive x, y, z. Yeah, x. So yeah, right. I want to take this vector 3 right. I want to multiply it by the current horizontal speed, and then I want to the resulting thing, so our horizontal velocity right, and this is going to be a vector 3 because this is a vector 3, right? So that, and I want to multiply it, or rather I want to rotate it by the current player's rotation. So how do I rotate a vector 3? Can I just multiply it? By an int, vector, 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 right, 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 right. Operate. And then to float the vector 3. No, not what I want. What am I looking for? I know there's just a way. Project, reflect, rotated. Rotated by an angle in radians. The axis must be a normalized vector. Normalized vector. Wait, what does that mean? Around the given axis. Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I know how to do this. So then, yeah, like this. Copy this and then go to this. So I take this horizontal velocity and I want to rotate it. Does this return the rotated? Yes, it returns it. Okay. I want to take it and I want to rotate it. Velocity rotated by, well, first of all, rotate it around the y-axis, so vector 3 point up. And I want to rotate it by whatever the current rotation is. So it'll be rotation. Actually, what is it called? Let's make really sure of that. It is, yeah. So I want to go to the player body and whatever rotation it has. Rotation point y. What do you mean it's not declared in it? Oh. Yeah, it was just misspelled. Okay. So that makes it so that the current, this value, the horizontal velocity, is just the body, the ground component of the velocity of the thing, right? Of the player. And that is in a vector 3. So in order to get the actual velocity of the player, now, because these are vectors and are not just velocity numbers, I want to add them together to produce the end velocity. So player body point velocity is equal to the horizontal velocity plus the current vertical speed. And if my vector math is right, that should work. Now, we haven't yet added the curve, right? The path. So when I press play here, the movement of the player should work out to be the exact same. And it didn't. It just errored. What was that? Oh, current vertical. You're right. Right. It's a vector 3 with that as the y component. So 3 up times. So this. That should do it. Okay, so it works the exact same things. The exact same. Good. That means that everything, all the math is working out fine. But the thing that is different is that now if I take the player and I rotate it a little bit, it should be moving alongside that rotation. So forward and backward rather than just left and right to the screen, right? It's working. That's a good thing. Okay, let's just test it with more extreme rotation just so I can be sure. Yep, it's going into the scene rather than, right? So that means that now I can control where the player is heading just by adjusting that rotation. So now all I need to do is have it be so that this path follow moves along the player, and then the player mimics the rotation of this thing, right? To begin with, is it actually rotating as it moves along the path? I think it should be, but I'm not sure. How can I display that? I want the path follow. What's your transform? If I move this, the rotation should change, right? Oh, it does. Okay, amazing. So I can just have it follow this rotation, have the player follow this rotation, and then the player is just going to sort of automatically move in that way. So what we want to do is we want to have it so that every time the player moves, something snaps it to that. Actually, how would I do that? let's build another node whose only function is to keep the player snapped to that thing, right? Or actually, yeah, we are going to need that. Yeah, let's add another node. And this is going to be just a normal node because all I needed to do is hold some code, right? This is going to be the path snapper. So the function of this is to sort of move the path and the player, or rather move the path and have the player snap to that path, right? So this should be part of the movement handler because this is to do with movement of the player. And so when the path handler is given this snap point, it's not going to store it, it's going to just pass it to the snap. So this doesn't really need to be a thing that he cares about. How do I do a setter function on Godot? I forget. Godot setter functions. They're very useful. Script reference, yes. And I'm looking for. By the way, is my audio fine? Because I put my microphone in a weird spot just so that in an attempt to get it to not catch the sound from the computer fans as much. It still catches it, but like it's not muffled or anything, is it? Setters and getters, there it is. Yep, okay. So I want it so that whenever this is set by somebody, it's not going to be stored in here, but rather it's going to be given to the path snapper. So we're going to need to export that. So export variable path snapper. It's going to be a path snapper type, which doesn't exist yet, but we're gonna make it. And then put this in the scripts folder for the player. Although this one is probably going to end up being a general thing because I imagine other things are going to be needing to snap to paths too. And this needs a variable that is just exactly this variable basically. So this right? This, right, like that. And so this guy is going to, whenever it receives the snap point, it's going to just pass it on. And that's all it's going to do with it. No other response. Right, this goes like this. There you go. And so the only thing that this guy needs to be aware of is who its path snapper is. Right. So when it comes to that, the path snapper is going to need to do a thing. Like every time the movement handler decides that there has been horizontal movement, right here, and luckily we have the horizontal velocity, it is going to call the path snapper, and the path snapper is going to move the path follow node that it's being given by that amount Oh, but that only has to be on move and slide, doesn't it? So yeah, because move and slide can hit against the wall, and if it does, then the path snapper needs to not move, right? So then how do I get the amount of movement after the move and slide? That is get less motion, but I think there's an easier one. No, that's not what I want. Because you can apply more than one, so I want... Nope, that's not what I wanted to see. Where am I? Where do you... Like, what are we looking for? Position delta. Yeah, the position delta. Okay. So the movement, once the movement occurs, it is going to take the position delta. It's going to tell the path snapper, hey, we have moved this much. Get position delta. It's going to tell it, hey, we have moved this much, you need to do your thing, right? And so the path snapper is going to do its thing. On move. Actually, move is not a good name, is it? It sounds like it's commanding it to move, and it's not. It's telling it that we've moved. So what it should be called is path snapper. You need to snap movement. Yeah, snap movement has happened, and you need to snap it right to the curve, to the path. And so the path snapper is going to have this snap movement. It's going to receive a vector 3 that is going to be the movement that we have to snap, like this, right? So yeah, so how do you snap that? Well, first of all, you gotta eliminate the y component of the vector, because we don't care about vertical movement, we only care about horizontal. So you take the movement to snap and you multiply it by a vector that goes like this. Right, so that is 1, 0, 1. So, you know, multiply by 1, same value, multiply by 0, 0, right? Actually, let's give it a more significant hint. That variable y discarded. Actually, it's just movement to snap. Horizontal movement. And then we don't actually want... Ooh, hold on. Yeah, I'm thinking. Because we want to know whether it's going to be left or right. So just getting the velocity is not going to be useful, because that's not going to give us negative. So how? Ah shit, how do I do this? This is gonna be a bunch of math. Well, actually, the movement handler knows if it's negative or positive, doesn't it? So it can just give me that information. Yeah, you can just do that. That's good. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna give the direction as well. So, and at that point, it might as well give you the velocity. No, because we need the result, not the thing. So yeah, we need the horizontal speed and we need the sign of it. We need to know if it went. Ooh, but what if it's not right? Because this is the input velocity, not the. This is the input velocity, not the. Actually, is it input velocity? Yeah, this doesn't care about collisions, and sometimes a collision may have you just reeling back in the opposite direction that was inputted, so it can't just use that number, can I? Well, I could just pass it. Yeah, I'll just pass it here. So vector 3 right times print horizontal speed yeah, the right vector rotated by vector 3 up where body rotation y. Except no, hold on, I'm using this multiple times, so I shouldn't. You just calculate it once and use that. So let's just do. Yeah, let's just do it like that. So we need a new variable, and this is relative forward. So the forward relative to the player, and that is vector 3 right rotated along the vector 3 up. So the the y-axis rotated along that vector by an amount of your current rotation, whatever it may be. And this is again assuming that that's the only rotation this body will ever suffer, right? And then we use that. So the horizontal velocity is going to be equal to this relative forward times the current horizontal speed, which can be positive or negative. And then we don't need this. And then, because I already have this variable, I can just use it here. So the path snapper needs to know how much where movement actually happened and what the relative forward of the player is. Then the path snapper takes that relative forward which is a vector 3. Think, is it a vector 3? Yes. Is it? Yes, it is. It takes that vector and uses it to determine whether the movement goes along that or against that more. So it's going to need as a function. Right? Yes, it's going to need that as a function. Oh, this is a lot of coding that I don't get to test because it's all numbers. So yeah, we're going to need another function. I don't need it, but it's useful to have another function. This function is going to be... this function is going to basically just decide whether this movement is positive or negative. This movement that we receive, is it positive movement or is it negative movement? Are we moving along the curve or are we moving against it, right? Well, along in the other direction, really. And so... yeah, and it's going to need two things to do that. It's going to need the amount of movement and the direction of that movement. Hold on, this feels stupid. Why am I getting the relative forward then? Huh? I got confused by what I was trying to do. Oh god, I got really confused. The relative forward should be enough to tell me if it is moving ahead or back. But no, the movement itself should be enough, right? What? Oh god, I got really confused by what I was doing. Oh no, I just completely lost the plot here. Okay, hold on. What are we actually trying to do? This path snapper has one function, and that function is to snap the player to a point along a curve. That point is... in order to do that, it has to be able to move that point by the amount that the player moved. But in order to do that, it needs to know whether the movement is going forward or backward. If it knows the movement of the player, yeah, if it knows the movement of the player, then it doesn't yet know if that movement is actually forwards or backwards. Right? Because it could be either, because it's relative to the player. So in order to know that, it needs the relative forward. So it needs to know if the movement when I cut off this, when I cut off the vertical movement and leave only the horizontal component of it, then that is going to either be along the relative forward or against it. So how would I know that? horizontal movement, if the y component is something different than 0, then just send an error. Right? And that's just to make my job easier. And then quit the game, right? Then how do we know if it actually is forward or not? Well, if you add the forward vector and the magnitude is longer, then they're pointing in the same direction. And if it's smaller, then they're pointing in the opposite direction, right? So it's not called magnitude. What is it? It's probably length. Length, yes, okay. Right, so we have the initial length of the horizontal movement. Then we take test length, and then it's going to be the horizontal movement plus the forward vector. It's going to be the length of those two together. And so, if this length is, if initial magnitude is larger, that means that than the test length, that means that the length went down, which means that they're pointing in opposite directions, which means that the direction is not forward, right? Otherwise, but actually let me test for 0 too. Right? So if it is 0, then something weird has happened. Like that just shouldn't happen. So we're gonna print another error. Quit the game and then return false, because that's just an error, so it doesn't happen anyway. So then if we ask, so yeah, we have the horizontal movement, and then we need to ask, hey, are we moving forward or backward along the curve, right? So well, that's what we made this function for. So is direction forward, give it the horizontal movement, and give it the relative forward vector. And so that's going to return is whether we're moving along the curve or against it, right? So then what we do is, actually let's just save it. We need to save it as a variable. And this is the boolean. So whether is forward movement. Or actually, let's just call it forward movement flag, because I don't want to have, like, I like is being functions and flags being variables. So then, having those two values, what I can do is I know how much it moves, and I know in which direction it moves. So now I can move the path snap point. So, well, first of all, let's actually get the magnitude. So now I know how much it moves, but as a number rather than as a vector, right? So then, now, that means that I can move the little snap point. So, variable. Actually, let's just make it its own function. And then we're gonna write that function. Right? So, how do we do that? Well, we take the snap point and we tell it to hey, snap point, is progress the variable that I want here? Yes, because this one's measured in meters. Good. Okay. Hey, your progress. Yeah, if we are not moving forward, then the amount has to be negative because we're moving in another direction. So move amount equals move amount times -1. So other direction. Okay. Then we take this snap point and we tell its progress, hey, we're going to be adding to you the move amount. If it is negative, then adding results in a smaller number. So that works, right? So the snap point has been moved, and now we need to snap the player to that snap point. So snap player. Or rather, let's call it snap entity. So this should have to be snap body. Let's call it snap body. Like the body 3D. Snap body. Okay, so then we need another function that snaps the body. So function snap body, and so all that this does is change the bodies. So body to snap position is going to be equal to a new vector 3 because we want to keep the y position. So a new vector 3. And this vector 3 is going to be the three components are going to be the x position of the path snap point, the y position of the body, so that just remains, that is maintained, and the z position of the snap point. Point Z. Okay. This does limit us to snapping along, right, XY axis, so we can't have like worlds that just sort of curve like a planet, like where they curve down or left. But honestly, I think that's fine. I don't think we'll need that. And if we do, then this is a good proof of concept anyway. Like, I can rewrite the code. It'll be a lot worse math, though. Yeah, so the body has been snapped to that position. And I think that should be it. Right? And we know that this is not going to cause problems with the movement handler because the movement handler tells this guy when to do all this. This guy doesn't do anything on its own. The only thing that we need to make sure is that this is passed at the beginning. So, given by movement. No, actually, they shouldn't be given by the movement handler. He should just know. And then we just do this. This feels a bit messy, but if it works, it's gonna work. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so what's going on here? Is this not happening? You seem to think that this has happened, so that would imply that this has been assigned to the path snapper. And yet it's not. So what's the deal here? Is this not the same variable? Is it not exposed somehow? Yeah, you get the... So it should be happening, right? Why is it not happening? Why are you not getting the path snap point? No, it's just null every time. Why is that? Oh, I just didn't give it here. Yeah, I just forgot to assign it. Okay, so now we have different invalid access to property or key Z on a base value, right? Because this is not that, this is position. That's what we want. Oh god. Holy shit, look at that! Okay, let's put the camera farther away so that I can see if it does the whole loop. On camera. Let's go over here and tilt it down a little bit. Okay, let's see if this does the whole loop. And then it goes behind the thing. There's no lighting, so that's why it just looks like a block, but... Oh yeah! Okay, one last thing to do. First of all, let's make this loop a bit smaller. So just... grab all these things. Put them just a little closer together. Just gotta put them here. Right? And then just make this. Let's just make this smaller. I mean, this is just a testing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, something like this. There you go. So like... Yeah, I forget. Let's add a bit of lighting just so that I can see things better. World, environment. Just a really quick environment. I mean, this is the way it's gonna look, right? No, it's not. What the fuck? Something isn't quite adding up here. The player should be dead center on the camera. Why is it just moving all the way there? It should be following this path follow thing. right? So like, if I take this path follow and just sort of move it, player should move along with it. And it does. Or are they at the same position? That's the question. Actually, maybe I'm just wrong about where the camera is pointing, so let me add something to this. Just a little cube or something. Oh, it's freezing. Just give it a couple seconds. You okay? There you go, okay. Let's just give it a cube there. Right? And make it a bit bigger. To begin with, one thing I didn't notice is how huge these environments are actually. Maybe that's why I was having so much trouble adjusting the scale of everything. But these are all 1 by 1, right? So is the player just fuck huge here? The scale is 10 to 10 to 10. That's odd. Okay, let's not worry about that too much for now. So let's just take this new box and make it like big. So the player should be on top of this box at all times. That's what should be happening. I can't see the fucking box because there's no lighting. Oh boy, I sure wish that I knew how to work this light system so that I could just make something good enough to look at things. Fuck it, I'm just gonna put a light source. Yeah, delete it, I don't care. Does that help at all? Very, very, very little. Or to make it bigger. I can barely see anything. Come on, dude. Like that? Okay, what the fuck, man? Okay. Now I can see a thing. So the cube is moving exactly as I expected, but for some reason the player is displaced. Am I moving the wrong object? The body to snap is the character body 3D, and that is the player. Then the movement handler is moving the player, right? Yeah, is the player. The player is the player body. So why are they just displaced? Why is the player in a different position? The X is okay, the Y is okay, the Z... These two should be the same except for the Y component. So every frame it's going to be printing two numbers that should be exactly the same except for the Y component. So this number is the same as this is the same as this. But for some reason the player is all the way to the right. Both of these are exactly where you expect them to be. So why? Question, if I move this, the starting position of this, does that affect that? No, it's always as the same amount of units to the... And it crashed! Why? Okay, give the player a cube, just so that I can see it. I'll actually give it a cylinder, sure, why not? Like right here. Let's go down here. What if I make the player scale to 1? No, that doesn't make a difference. Okay, good to know, because I didn't want to have to do that. To begin with, I'm not even sure that they're following the same curve, so camera, set yourself in a better position. I want to be able to see a thing. No, minus 90, I want to be pointing to the ground. Okay, they are following the same curve, it's just displayed by a certain amount. But that shouldn't be, those positions are exactly the same. So is it possible that they're just not the same? That the movement handler is doing something after? Shouldn't be, because after the move and slide, all it does is snap the movement and then it's done, right? So would it be like on the next time that it does the physics process? Or something in between? It's always the same amount too. Oh, I know what it is. These are not relative to the same parent node, so they have to be global positions. There you go, that's what I want. Because the player looks as if it's not in the position it should be, but that's just because it's under. So like if I put the camera back where it was, so like 0, and then move it like to go around here. Up a little bit actually. Right, so now it should be obvious that the player is sitting perfectly where it should be, like snap to this axis. Okay, one more thing that we need to do is have the player so that it actually rotates along the axis, right? Well, that's easy. That's taking this and telling it, hey, after you snap the body, rotate the body. And then when it rotates the body, the only thing it does is it takes the player, or the body that it is meant to snap, takes its rotation, and makes it equal to the snap point rotation. But we have to make sure that it is only the Y component. So, the Y component then. Plus 90 degrees. There you go. So now it's navigating sort of as it should be, right? That cube is supposed to be invisible, actually. Yeah, and it can jump and move just all along fine, and physics just sort of work out the same way. It's just limited to that. Okay, so one more thing, and this one should work in X. This one should work automatically, and that is that if I put a wall in there, it should be able to stop it, right? So let's do that. Let's take this cube, copy it, and then make it into a wall, into something that would stop the player. So something like this. Because this one already has collision, that's really it. So yeah, we put it right in the path, right here. And the player should, when walking against it, just stop. Mike is echoey, isn't it? Oh, thanks for the notice. It's probably because I have it set up in the confusing place. Okay, hold on, sorry, you're gonna hear a lot of noise right now. Is it better here? I actually don't like putting it there because it's too close to me, so it's going to peak no matter what I do, I feel. But it should be not echoey anymore. I'll try to speak a little bit softer, I guess. I really wish I could reduce this mic's sensitivity somehow, because it didn't used to be like that. Sounds better? Okay, good to know. Thank you. But the problem is that it's right by the fan, so it's going to catch a lot of that noise, actually. I don't like that. Let me try to put it a bit further away. Is it good here? Okay, so sounds fine. Okay, good. Okay, so we have this thing, and this wall should stop him. Oh, it does, but it makes it... I don't know if you can see that on stream, but it makes the little thing shake a lot. Let me put the wall in a more convenient spot to notice that. Like here. Oh, actually it's working fine. Oh, it must have been a camera thing, because now it doesn't do that. Okay, and you can step onto it, so it just has its full collision. And it's not a problem that the player is limited to this curve, right? Like the player just moves along the curve automatically. And it can... Okay, that's weird. Hold on. Let me do that where I can see it. Okay, so why does it work there and not here? Are you not jumping? Camera. Oh. Camera, show me what's actually going on. Ah, okay. So it seems like there's some... Oh, I know what's causing that. I know what's causing that. Let me test that theory. If I rotate this just a little bit, and it doesn't happen anymore, or at least not as badly. Yeah, I think I know what it is. Oh, that's a pain in the ass. Okay, so yeah, the issue is that because the curve, right? Let me show it on the... like this. The issue is this. You see this curve right here? You can barely see it. It's very faint cyan. Let me make this invisible. Okay, it's better now. So you see this curve? The issue is that when it meets this block, if the block is how it was before, so like this, the player is trying to move in this direction and it encounters no opposition because it's moving just a little bit, but then the snapper puts it back along the curve, right? So like right here, right? The player is trying to move... Oh, fuck, hold on. The player is trying to move in this direction, right? Like slightly outside of the curve. Like the curve is going here, the player is trying to move here because that's the direction that is like straight, right? It calculates movement based on that direction, which doesn't find the collision. Then the snapper puts it back on the curve. It finds that that amount of movement puts it, instead of here where there's space, it puts it here where there's block, right? And then it finds a collision that it didn't expect to find. That's a problem because it means that it's limiting how fast I can move my player. Right? Like if I move it like this, then it's going to be a real problem, for example. Surprisingly, not as much there. Yeah, because the movement is being handled as if the player is moving straight rather than curving, then that's when the issue happens. So the way to solve that would be to, rather than do the movement and then calculate where the player would land, is to do it the other way. Calculate where the player would land, and then based on that, do the movement. And that is difficult. Okay. I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write that on the to-do list so that I can ruminate over it, because there might be like an easy fix that I'm not seeing. Right? So let's put it on my to-do list. So that I can do this next time. And then I'll finish here for today. Because we managed to get the curve working, it's just the obstacles with it that are not working, right? And then, yeah. That's what I'm gonna do, because I feel I've done good. Good enough work today. What time is it? 8:10, 8:10, 8:10. Yeah, I can probably play some game. Let's do that. So yeah, I'm gonna, after this, I will be playing video game. So I'm gonna be right back, okay? Okay.